I'm back with free conversations tonight. We have been celebrating bringing to things that freeing to conversation. So we have Ms. who is joining us to bring more awareness to cancer, as it is breast cancer month. Last week we had Ms. Morris was here to share her organization and ways to impact by bringing more about breast cancer. Tonight, into Meg as she shared before I do so, if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel at Green. You'll find early, and you can share friends. You can freely with other people that you know that need more awareness and want to hear the subjects that we're discussing here. Uh, I'm not. Also, in the free group where we are a network of women where we each other in our freedom, having free conversations in life. So join the Facebook group. And um, so that you can get a little bit more she speaks. So she was diagnosed with stage 2, her positive triple positive breast cancer at the age of 35, y'all. You know, you people who are more so later in life, and you also hear that you should get mammograms at 40, but she experienced at the age of 35. Under 20 rounds of medication and 17 rounds of immuno treatment. She is currently years diagnosed treatment for y'all. Her husband and her are married for 11 years, have an 8-year-old son, Jaxon, 13 years. Um, so under and County Public School programs, maybe teacher. Meg the Things, which she makes t-shirts and welcome Meg.
Hey, can you hear me okay? Okay.
It's not
It's not as clear as it was a few minutes ago for me.
it's okay.
Okay.
I can
Okay. As long as you can hear me, fine.
hear you. So what you would like to share us about your friend? 5 years old. I
I
guess
know.
it's not very often to hear someone yourself diagnosed with cancer. I've heard you, but it's very rare. Tell us about a little bit about your journey.
So yeah, 2020 was a crazy year for a whole lot of reasons. So we were at home. I at that time was a teacher, so I was teaching at home. My son was doing school at home. We were in the middle of the pandemic, and one night I was laying in bed watching TV, and we were eating well at that time. So I thought I had heartburn, started rubbing my chest, and I felt something there, and I asked my husband to feel it, and he was being himself, so he was rubbing, but then things got really serious really quickly. And we realized really was something there. um, Time went on, maybe about a week and a half or so, and what I felt didn't disappear. It really felt like a rock or a small pebble that was underneath my skin. And so I called my primary care, and her name is Michelle Beckham. She's been my doctor for my entire life. I called her, and she's like, "Yeah, Meg, we should probably get you in." So I went in with her. She did the clinical breast exam, felt the exact same thing that I felt, and played absolutely no games. Got me in to get a mammogram and ultrasound in that next week. After the mammogram and ultrasound, they were like, "Yeah, there's something there. We need to look at it further. We're gonna, sign you up to get a biopsy done." So I had the biopsy done. The biopsy is where they go into the area and they take cells from it and they send them off to be tested. That was probably like, I don't remember how long it was, but it was the longest time period that I had ever experienced waiting to hear back what this was, what was going on inside of my body. My doctor called me on May 19th and delivered the news to me that it was breast cancer. And she was talking. I heard her, um, but it was totally like an out of body experience. Like, what? Like, how? Not me, not at this time. So, time goes on and things were escalated really quickly. I had a lumpectomy at the end of June of 2020. Um, Towards the beginning of July, I began chemotherapy. And like you said, I had 6 rounds of chemotherapy. And after chemo was done, I had 20 rounds of radiation. And all throughout that time, I had 17 rounds of immunotherapy treatments. My oncologist likes to joke and say that they threw the kitchen sink at me as far as the medical treatment goes. But I'm so glad that they did, because of my age, and the fact that I just knew that there was so much life I had left to live. There was so many more things that I wanted to accomplish. So I'm so glad, so thankful for them. They listened to me throughout treatment. Chemo sucks, for lack of a better way to say it. Like, it's horrible. It, ravages your body to get rid of those cancerous cells. I lost my hair, I lost my eyebrows, my eyelashes. It was pretty traumatic. But the one thing that I did know is that I had to stay positive. I had to stay positive throughout that time, because I had an entire army of people that were behind me, that were supporting me, that were praying for me. And like I said, I just felt like I had so much more life to live. And I knew that God had given me this disease for a reason. And I'm living that out right now, being a breast cancer advocate now, telling my story to anybody who will listen. I am raising money this month for the Pretty in Pink Foundation, which Vera is also an advocate for, a spokesperson for. So, the very thing that tried to take me out is what's keeping me lifted right now and giving me a story to tell. So, I'm here for it.
That is so wonderful. I'm so glad that you're here for one and telling the
Yeah.
story. You can attest to um, what it's like to experience that, especially at such a young age.
Yeah.
Is there any advice that you would give to someone who, I mean, just us? I mean, we're in the millennial age. I'm 37.
Hmm.
Um, excuse me. And so, what is something that you would share with someone? Because I heard you say something about, like you said, you had heartburn, and then your chest was hurting. So, like, tell a little bit more about that experience and what advice would you give, to someone our age?
So it's really not as uncommon as you think, for young women, young Black women, young women of color to be diagnosed with breast cancer. I have found a community on Instagram that are full of women who are younger than we are. I'm 37 as well. And those women are younger than we are. And to be at that age, like we're not even getting mammograms at this time, right? Like it's the recommended age is 40 years old. You turn 40, that's when you go in and get your boobs squished, right? So that's not even something that's happening for us, not even on our radar. But how we can come against that and be advocates for early detection is doing those self breast exams every single month. On my social media, I post on the first of every month to check your boobs. It's hashtag check your boobs, um, and fill it on the first. And the reason why we say that is because when we are on our period, our breasts tend to feel differently. But if you feel your breasts on the first of every month or around the same time every month, when there is a change, you can tell. No one knows your
Okay.
body like you know your body. So if you take the time while you're in the shower, lift your arms, go in those circular motions, feel in your armpit, it you would be you it could save your life. I was not someone who did those breast exams before. I mean, didn't have a reason to. But now I'm touching every chance I get. Like, what is that?
Yes,
What just to make sure that there is nothing there. And if there is something there, I'm getting on my chart and I'm sending my doctor a message. Hey, I found something. Something doesn't feel right because you are your best advocate. Like I said, no one knows your body like you do.
absolutely. That's so good. You it's great that you said that I love how you're posting every month, like
Hmm.
to check your boobs on the first of the month and
Hmm.
or around the time when your body is at its, first thing saying you're not about to be on your cycle or you're not, coming on or you're not on your cycle.
Right.
So it's good to know that it's something I didn't even think of. Like do it
Hmm.
at a time where your body is like, more at ease and not going through all the changes. So
Yes.
that's a great, great, great yes, that's great. So tell me what your support was like during this time, and like, did your insurance cover things? Did you have an organization that supported you throughout this journey? What tell us a little bit more about those things.
So my village is unmatched. There are absolutely no words to describe what my family, my family, those friends that are like family, my friends, my colleagues, people from college, people I didn't even know, just poured into us, poured into my family, kept food at my door because it was in the middle of the pandemic, so people weren't really coming by or being in your home in our home like that. I will never forget the day before I started chemo. My family and friends surprised me with the best car parade, and
Oh,
they just
good.
girl, like it. You have to scroll back on my page to be able to see it. Like it was the best thing I've ever been a part of, and I just cried and cried and cried the entire time.
Oh my
I was so
God.
exhausted after it was done, but it just the outpouring of love and support that my family received during the time of my diagnosis, during treatment, even after. I'm in year 2 of survivorship right now, and people are still, supporting and checking in and how are y'all doing? Do you need anything? Um, I make t-shirts, like that's my side hustle when I'm not educating the future. um
Yes.
so one of my coworkers was like, we should design a shirt. And at the time I was like, well, I'm not going to be making shirts. Like, she's like, no, no, you don't have to make anything, but I want to be able to help you in this way. So my husband helped me come up with Meg Strong, and that's my brand now. So during the time when I was sick, it was hashtag Meg Strong, and we had t-shirts. And anytime I posted anything, I'd post every chemo Monday, and it would just be photos and reels of my friends and family in their Meg Strong t-shirts. And to look back at those reels and videos now, it's like, gosh, one, I did not realize so many people had my shirt. And two, just like it just makes me so emotional, to just know that we were supported and loved on, in such a way. And that song, Love Lifted Me, it's real.
Mm,
It's real.
yes.
Love lifted us and, just kept me uplifted and positive throughout, throughout a time where I had every right not to be. So yeah, they were huge in, the healing process throughout, treatment and beyond.
That is so beautiful. It's nothing like having a tribe of people that are truly there to not just to support you when you're going through, but even after that. And to hear
Absolutely.
that you have people who are still reaching out to you and asking how you all are doing and if you need anything, that is beautiful. That
Hmm.
is absolutely, that is the true definition of community.
Yes.
Excuse me. And we need more community, not just when we're not doing well, but even when we are well. So it's beautiful to hear that people are still building community. It's so beautiful.
Absolutely. There were times where I would go in for treatment or for infusions, and if you're not familiar, when you go in for chemotherapy or infusions, it's basically a room full of recliners. And during the pandemic, outside people were not allowed. So it was just, those of us who were receiving treatment. And being my age, I was always one of the youngest people in there. And to see older men, older women, and they're frail. And um it's like, wow, like if they are going through this, I could just only imagine having the support that I had. I would hope and pray that those that I saw in the infusion room and other people who, have to go through something like this would have that very same support. But sadly, a lot of people do not. In raising money for Pretty in Pink, they sponsor, and they call them champions. They're, breast cancer patients who are uninsured or underinsured. And fortunately, I'm insured, and I, did not have to apply to receive, funding from them. But there are men and women out there who just can't afford their treatment. And so, can you imagine having to choose between getting treatment or paying your bills? Like, that's a choice that no one should have to make. And thankfully, I didn't have
Yeah.
to. But that's a huge part of the reason why I, have chosen to raise money for them each year, 2 years now.
Yes. So donate to Pretty in Pink. Is it foundation?
It's Pretty in Pink Foundation.
Yes. And so I actually know, I seen a picture of, her name is his leaving my head right now. I used to work with one of the ladies there, and it'll come to me because I'm thinking
Okay.
too hard right now.
Yeah, it's
And
okay. It's
so,
okay.
um, so Pretty in Pink Foundation, and also there's Treasure Your Chest. They're both raising funds for mammograms. So to be
Mhm.
able to get your mammograms and to pay for treatment, Pretty in Pink is a great foundation. You also, if you know someone out there who needs support and they're uninsured, please reach out to those organizations who
Absolutely.
to get a mammogram or either to get support with treatment. Um, so LA is her name.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
There you
Yes.
go.
Yeah. So I seen her in some photos recently. I used to work with her. So she's a part of that foundation. She's a
Yeah,
survivor too.
yeah.
Um so yeah, so tell us. I there's something that stood out to me. So you said you made the shirts called Meg Strong.
Uh-huh.
So what does that mean to you when someone asks you about your shirt or you see your shirt? What's the feeling or the passion behind Meg Strong?
So, that's a great question. No one's ever asked me that before. Um, so when the shirt was first made, it was literally a hashtag. So it was just hashtag Meg Strong. Like, we're gonna live strong. Like that, aren't those the yellow bands? I forget the guy's name. But his motto was live strong. Um, so that was my motto. And every time I would post, it would be hashtag Meg Strong. Um, it became more than a hashtag, more than something on a t shirt. And now it's representative of the fact that I made it, right? I beat this ugly thing that tried to take me out. I stepped on its head and showed it who was boss. Um, but it's a way of living for me. Um, no matter what comes my way, I'm I'm gonna win. I am the strongest person I know. Um, and not just because, I beat cancer or the treatment that I received, saved my life, but it's because I know the power of prayer and I know the power um, of God and the miracles that He performs every day. And when I put on those shirts or when I see my hashtag, like that's me giving Him glory for the very thing that He did in saving my life. So it's more than
Love
a
that.
brand, it's more than a
Yes.
hashtag. Like it's for His glory. And I will tell anybody who will listen. Like he saved my life and I'm Meg Strong all day.
Yes. So
Mm.
is there anything that you changed after you recovered from cancer? Anything in your lifestyle that you did different? Anything you were motivated to do? I know you are advocating and promoting the Pink Foundation.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I'm probably saying that
It's
wrong.
okay. It's
Uh,
okay. It's pretty in pink.
Pretty in Pink
Mhm.
Foundation. And is there anything that you did differently as a result? I know you started making custom items, but what did you decide to do different? What were you empowered to do differently in your life after recovering from cancer?
So I have never been so public with everything. Not necessarily, everything, but because your aunties and them are on Facebook, but the fun is on Instagram. Don't tell them.
Yes,
We don't
yes.
want we
Get on
don't want that over here.
Instagram. Come
Right.
on over there.
Right. Come on over. We have a good time over
Yes.
here. Um, but yeah, so I made my Instagram, my personal page, Mrs. Meg underscore K. I made it public after doing a sponsored post. And after that, I started getting DMs and friend requests from women all over the United States who were breast cancer survivors. So I became for them what those other women were for me when I was going through. So now there are women who are messaging me like, "Hey, I found you through a hashtag," or "Hey, I was just diagnosed and I found your page." And to me, that's mind blowing because I'm just a little old girl from Clayton. Like, like how in the world did you find me? But to be able to be a light for them, just like the other women were for me, that's a pretty big deal for me. So this October has been really busy. Um, I feel like I've been all over the place doing all the things, telling everyone to check their boobs. And that's really cool. It's not something that I had ever really done before. And one of my girlfriends was like, "Megan, like this is it for you. You're really good at it." And I'm like, "Well, I'm just telling my story. I'm just advocating for women to check their boobs and get their mammograms and not to avoid conversations about their health because it's uncomfortable. Um, During my treatment, I would post every Tuesday, and I called it Talk About It Tuesday. And every Tuesday, I would post whether it was something that I was thinking about that week, something that I had researched, because Google is a very powerful tool.
It
Um,
really is.
right? Or just something that I was going through that week. I would post about it, and I was surprised at the number of people who would comment because it was something that they had. hadn't thought about before or didn't know, or just simply, how to support someone who is going through treatment or going through chemo, and how to show up for them and how to be there for them. Something as simple as that. Um, so this has really opened my eyes to a world that I, wasn't a part of. I say all the time that this ugly disease connects men and women in such a beautiful way. So I'm just happy to be here for it.
That is so wonderful. So you found a new mission in life, in the
Yeah,
sense is that you are, like you said, you are what those other women were for you when they were
yeah,
going through cancer. So that is so beautiful.
yeah,
So beautiful. And to see you here smiling,
yeah. Always with a
beautiful.
smile.
I love
Thank
them
you.
glasses too, by the
I
way.
love yours too. I love yours
Thank
too.
you. Thank you. So it's so great to hear that you enjoy. It sounds like you really, really enjoy doing the things that you didn't think you were doing. You would be
Right,
doing. You're public now. You're out in the
right.
public.
Right,
Yes.
right. It is very very different for people to and it's a blessing too for people to speak your name in rooms that you haven't been in, or know your story and say, "Hey, I know a girl. Let me give you her contact information." And a lot of my friends have, contacted me with because they know people, their coworkers, their friends who have recently been diagnosed, and will ask me to talk to them or ask if it's okay to give my information to them. And I will always say yes, because, like I said, I'm here for His glory. All of this is for God. It's not for me. Totally for Him.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. So I heard you say that you were doing a post like on Tuesday, talk about it
Mhm.
Tuesday. And you said that you were just, talking about things that, engage conversation amongst others. So what is something you would say to someone that is in need of support as they're going through now? Because nobody knows what to really say when
Right.
someone is like going through. But as a survivor of breast cancer, what was something that you heard that helped you smile, or helped you get through the day or the moment or whatever you were experiencing as you were going along in your journey?
Something that was said to me very early on, by my oncologist. Her name is Stacy Taloni. She is absolutely amazing. I message her with questions that I should be asking my primary care. I'd be like, "Dr. Taloni, what you think about this?" But she's just that personable. But one of the first meetings that my husband and I had with her, she told me that this journey was going to be a marathon, not a sprint. And at the time, I was like, okay, well, but like I'm trying to get through it to get to the end. So tell me what the steps are. But it being in it, there were literally 3 or 4 finish lines that I got to, and getting to each one was such a feat. Finishing chemo, finishing radiation, finishing hormone therapy, starting the daily medications. Um, so I see now what she meant. You literally have to take it one day at a time. So for that woman or that man that just received their diagnosis, don't think about the end or how long treatment is going to take. You literally take every day one day at a time, and find something in each day that brings you joy, whether it's watching TV, eating ice cream, sitting on your porch, going for a walk, taking a nap, whatever it is that brings you joy for that moment, take it, because the medications that, are administered to our bodies via chemo, like, they are harsh. They're very, very harsh, and sometimes they can make you very, very, very sick. And so on those days where you don't feel your best, or it's hard to see the sunshine, you still gotta find it, and you've still gotta fight. I always would say positive in, positive out. Like, if I want to feel positivity, if I want to see positivity, I have to be it first. And I didn't, I tried my best not to let those down days keep me down. So yeah.
That is so great. Like what you said is not only something that could be so enlightening and so empowering for someone who is going through cancer, but that's just words for life in general.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like
Yeah.
find joy in something each day to keep going through. There's something in our lives, like the breath that we breathe in every day, the sun shining outside,
Yes.
the way your hair looks, or
Yes.
just the having some cute glasses on,
Yes.
something, being able to find joy in something, having food on your table, like being
Yes.
able to afford the gas to drive your car to work, like there's some type of joy that you can find in each day, and that is so powerful. Like
Absolutely.
gratitude is so moving, it's so powerful, and it can literally shift your perspective about anything that's happening in your life.
Absolutely. I'd mentioned that at the time I was going through treatment, I was teaching. So
You were
in the
still
middle of,
teaching?
I was, I was in the middle of the pandemic.
Wow.
We're teaching virtually, and I was so 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 blessed to be able to still be able to work. I was on intermittent FMLA throughout that time, and so I would go out for treatment. So I'd miss about 3 or 4 days online with my kids, and then bright and early Monday morning, I wore headbands every day when I was bald. So my girls, what kind of headband do you have on today, Miss Cornicky?
Oh, that's
Um,
cute.
so that was my thing with them. I wore a headband or a wrap every day. And they knew that I was sick, but they didn't know that I had breast cancer until, I returned back to school and I share with them and, show them pictures of what my head really looked like behind the headbands. Able to see quite everything. Um, but to just show them like I showed up every day for y'all.
Ah, yeah.
I we were gonna tap out these sounds and learn how to read together, whether I was
Yes,
sick or not.
that
Um,
is so amazing.
yeah,
You were their hero even more, I'm sure.
yeah, yeah, a little cancer don't stop no show,
Right.
especially especially not when it comes to teaching and learning. So yeah,
Man, that is so powerful and moving. I mean, literally, you allowed yourself to keep moving no matter what.
yeah, I
That
felt
is
like I
so
had
powerful.
to. I felt like I had to. Like, I received that diagnosis, and we'll never forget, we took family photos, and our photographers are Thad and Sarah Lawrence from 2 and 3 Photography, and they are absolutely amazing. They've taken our photos every year since we got engaged. Um, and I will never forget this particular session. We went to take photos with them, and I asked them if I could take a photo alone, without my husband and my son. And that's the photo that I used to announce my cancer diagnosis. And I don't know if I've ever
Wow.
shared with anybody, but was, when I received the photos back, like I looked through them and I just cried because I thought, this cannot be the last family photo session that I take with my husband and my son. Like it just can't, I refuse to go out like this. Like this is not how my story
Wow.
is supposed to end. I have so much more life to live and things to do. And God has promised so much in the life of my family and then in the life of my son. Like, I have to be here to see those promises through. So I was determined that, it wasn't, cancer wasn't going to stop me.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love it. You were true definition. You stood by your hashtag and
I
your
sure
your
did.
movement. Make strong for real. You
I sure
stood by
did.
that.
Listen,
I so
even when it got hard.
Yes, I
Mm.
so admire your strength. I admire that you even still are advocating for other women. You are allowing yourself to be in spaces that you weren't familiar with and that you're growing into. Um, and you're so like you're smashing it, girl. You're out there doing it and
Thank you.
being the image of a warrior, a woman who's an overcomer, and especially a young woman who's experienced cancer, breast cancer, so young. But you're a true example in educating and empowerment. I always, say that, the scriptures of people perish for the lack of knowledge. And when we don't become knowledgeable and understand, excuse me, excuse me,
It's okay.
and understand, excuse me,
It's okay.
excuse me, I don't know where that came from.
It's okay. It happens.
But sorry, do you have something to
Okay.
say?
Oh, I
Real quick.
okay. Yeah, being in spaces where you never really thought that you would find yourself, it's very unique. It's very different. But when you've got a story like this one, you feel you feel worthy of being in those spaces, to know that someone somewhere needs to hear the story and what I've been through. So it's been pretty cool to be able to use my voice and use my story in this way.
All right. Hopefully
You
I'm together
okay?
now.
Okay.
Yes. So yes, that is such a beautiful thing, and I'm sure there is people and women and children who probably are admiring you, whether you know them or not. So keep being that beautiful example
Thank you.
out here in the world. And if you haven't already, please go follow Megan at Mrs. Meg underscore K, and Meg Makes the Things. Um, please support her business and the things that she's putting her hands to.
Thank you.
Also, she is supporting Pretty in Pink Foundation, where women are able to get support if they're uninsured. We know that life happens, and so we want people to have the resources that they need in order to get through whatever challenges they are. And this is why I'm doing here free conversations, and hope that people get the information, they become more aware of life, because life
Mhm.
does happen. We can't escape
Yeah.
life at all. And so even while we're doing life, why not have the resources? Why not be connected to the people who can support you? And so we can keep creating more community, because we need each other. We need each other
Absolutely.
because we don't know everything. Um, we don't have everything that we need sometimes, and so it's important for us to keep creating community, and that's what Free Conversation is about. Thank you so much, Megan, for
Thank you
coming up
for
here and
having
sharing your
me.
story.
Thank you for having
Anytime,
me. Yeah. This is really
anytime,
cool.
anytime.
I
Thank you
appreciate
so much.
the space. Like you said, this is necessary and it's needed, especially in our community. So I really appreciate you for this.
Oh, awesome. No problem at all. Like I truly value with educating into people about issues, because I don't know all the things. So I would just bring people who do know,
Oh,
who have experience.
right.
And so, I feel that people, the more we know, the better we can do, the better we are able to do in life. So it's so important to be connected to the right people. And I'm glad you were willing to come share. You didn't even know me,
Absolutely.
girl. You didn't even know me, and you came up here and just come up here just to share your story. And I love that. A lot of the people lately that I've been having up here, I have no idea who they are initially, and so it's
Yeah.
great to be connected to another beautiful Black woman who is strong, who is out here changing her community and the world around you, to make sure that people are knowledgeable and supported. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right, so I'm going to bring you down, Megan, and I'll continue. All right, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed Megan as she shared her wonderful journey to freedom from cancer, and how she is supporting others in the community to bring more awareness and to make sure they have the tools, the resources and the support. We need community more in here at Free Conversations. This is a community. Join our community. If you have not already, join the Facebook group here where we are talking about real issues. Hopefully, you'll see a little bit more what's going on in Free lately, and you'll learn more about what we're all about as a network. We are women to here to empower each other, to encourage people to live free and be free. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Greatly appreciate you if when you do that. Subscribe and press that bell so that you can get notifications when we are live again. Again, thank you all for watching tonight's version of Free Conversations with Megan Cornegie. Please go again and follow her. And remember that don't allow anything or anyone to keep you from living the life that you desire and God purposed you to live. Everyone be free, and I love you.